Welcome everyone, my name is Jacob. Thank you for joining me. In 2018, the British Journal of Sports Medicine published a meta-analysis that included 19 trials and 1,660 participants, titled Foot Orthosis for Plantar Heel Pain, a Systematic Review and Meta-Analysis. So they're taking, again, there's all these different trials on looking at custom orthotics versus a sham orthotic. And they're pulling all of this data together to get a sense of what's going on here. And again, 1,660 participants, 19 trials. And the results, and I will put this article, I'll put a link to this article in this video so that you can look at it for yourself. In the short term, medium term, and long term, there was very low quality evidence that foot orthosis, a custom orthotic, did not reduce pain or improve foot function. And so this is interesting. I'm sure we could punch holes in this data, and I am sure there's other data that says otherwise. But it is interesting because it is a meta-analysis, and it's so many number of participants, and it's looking at short, medium, and long term. So the question is, do you need a custom orthotic as you go hunt mountains out west or even hunt big hill country here in the east? I'm sure you've watched a lot of hunting videos, and you see the influencer and they talk about how much they love SheepFeet, for example, custom orthotic. And we'll talk about this a little bit more in a minute. And so the question is, do you need that? Do you have to have that to be successful out west? And the short answer is no, of course not, because people have been hunting out west for a long, long time without custom orthotics. But it is a question of, and we'll start with this premise. I have a pair of crispy boots behind me. These are some insoles from two different pairs that I have. And as you can see, these are very flimsy. They provide very little padding and very little arch support. And so let's start with that premise. First of all, is that these aren't great for your feet, and you may want to replace the insole that comes with your boot. So what do you replace it with? And what I wanted to do, and I started this back in July of last year of 2022. I wanted to take a look at what are the options out there in addition to a custom orthotic, and which ones provide the value, or is the custom orthotic truly the best value as it relates to my feet? Now, I covered hundreds and hundreds of miles. I spent time in Colorado. I spent time here in the hills of the state that I live in. Very, very steep country, even here, where I would use trekking poles. So the test I felt like was adequate. Now, the other premise that we're going to go with is that my body structure is different than yours. I weigh less or more than you. I might be older than you or younger. And so the amount of wear and tear on my body is different. And our foot structure is completely different. So we have to understand that those are some things that are, your experience may be completely different than mine. But what I decided to do was take a look at 4 different types of insoles or orthotic. And we'll start here with Dr. Scholls. In Walmart, they have a machine where you can stand and it'll test the bottom of your feet and the pressure points of your feet to get a sense of what they term as a custom orthotic would be perfect or best for your foot type. And so I did that. I went to Walmart, stood on the machine barefoot, and it came up with CF660 as my custom insole. So I purchased this. It was about $60, and put that into the rotation within my hunting boots as I hiked mountains and hill country. I also decided to pull in something from a company, SofSole Perform. I got this at a sporting goods store. It's somewhat similar to the Dr. Scholls in terms of its composition. It's a sort of a soft gel type material with some cloth on the top. in addition to those two, I decided to include SuperFeet. This is a little bit different. This is Adapt Max, and there are quite a few different types and styles of SuperFeet. This is the one that I chose. It just seemed to fit my interest. It's obviously stiffer. I can't really bend this without putting in some effort. There's a gel pad in the heel, but you can see it does provide some very stiff arch support and heel support. So quite different than the other two products. And then the other, last but not least, is the SheepFeet. And this is like, custom orthotics can be made three ways. There can be a 3D model using lasers. There can be actual plaster cast. A podiatrist would put plaster around your feet and create a custom mold. Or you can do what a lot of companies do these days, or at least what SheepFeet does, is they'll send you a small box that has two sides where you can put each of your feet, and you slowly stand up from a chair and put an impression of your foot into that styrofoam type material, and then you send that back to them, and they create your custom insoles or your custom orthotics based on that impression. So what I found was that if you think about, if you've ever laid on a waterbed, if you've ever or even had a waterbed or a friend or whatever, you think the waterbed experience is going to be amazing. It's going to be so comfortable. How could it not be? But what you find is that when you lay on a waterbed for a long period of time, or at least for me, I find that I'm activating different muscle groups in my body to stabilize my body that I wasn't even aware I had muscle groups. And it can be very uncomfortable. And you might be laying in a fashion that's not very comfortable for your body. And what I found was that was the same case with these gel type insoles, is that as you're side hilling or going up or down, your foot is trying to stabilize, and it can't, because it is squeezing and pinching along these edges. And so it became very clear very quickly that these insoles are simply not good for hill country or mountain country. Now, they may be great for the office, or they may be great for playing basketball in, where you're just going on a flat surface and that's all you're doing. But when you're going up and down, I would encourage you to avoid something that is very flimsy in nature. As it relates to the SheepFeet and the SuperFeet, what I found was that they are in fact very similar. And my conclusion is very similar to what was found in the British Journal of Sports Medicine, was that they're really, and obviously this isn't a sham insole, this is a legit insole with structure that allows my foot to be very secure and stable within the boot. And so what I would encourage you to do is, if you're looking or thinking about purchasing a custom orthotic, first of all, there's several companies that will do this sort of thing for you. SuperFeet just happens to be the one that's catering and focusing on the hunting market. But you could find other companies that will do the exact same thing for you, and it doesn't have to be, camouflage in orthotics. And you could save money. These were about $300 when I purchased them. These are about $30. And the question you have to ask yourself is, that $270 variance, is it worth it to me to go with something like a custom or like a SuperFeet that does give me some structure and does keep my feet stable, and use that $270 towards another tag, other gear, even like a one single glove from Sitka. Or do I want to spend a full $300 or $250 or whatever, where an influencer is trying to pitch this to me and give me a discount code so that they can make their cut off of something that you may or may not really need? I'll leave that decision to you, But I hope you found this helpful. Again, you can go to the link in this video and you can find the study for yourself. And I would encourage you to give SuperFeet a try first, or something of this nature, before you drop the money that it takes to buy a custom orthotic. Hope that's helpful. Best of luck this season. Thank you for your time and support. All the best.